With a total of exactly 36.66 million in cash, how long would it take you to count it all? A man, wearing headphones and listening to music, is completely focused on counting money. Nothing from the outside world distracts him, not even the fact that someone behind him has just killed his boss.
Who's the chicken now?
Shortly after finishing counting the last stack of bills,
4 million to the dollar.
And receiving no response from his boss Tommy, he turns around to witness the scene of the crime. Intense survival instincts prompt him to act quickly, choosing to say nothing.
Chippo. Say nothing. He had the coming.
Deceiving the trust of the two men, Jack decisively makes his escape. At this moment, Frankie, who has just killed Tommy, casually enjoys a post-murder cigarette. Upon hearing his brother Eddie's call, he swiftly takes action. Jack runs to the jungle behind the villa, seeking help but realizing there's no signal here. Encircled by 3 individuals, Jack is eventually captured at the pond's edge. Frankie suggests killing him to silence him, while Eddie advocates sparing his life for negotiation. During the brothers' debate, the butler, Jeff, discovers that Jack is secretly sending messages since there is signal in this location. He instructs Jack to throw away his phone. Frankie picks up the phone and tosses it directly into the pond. Eddie escorts Jack to the front of the villa, where Susie is already waiting. Susie arranges for Jeff to pull down the villa's shutters, lock the doors, and prevent anyone from entering or leaving. Frankie is tasked with notifying over 20 employees in the villa to come down. Eddie takes Jack to the secret factory below the estate, where Susie's employee, Jimmy, is assigned to guard him. After handling these emergency matters, Susie informs Eddie that Tommy wasn't particularly formidable, but his brother, Evangelist, is a more complex character. On the surface, Evangelist appears to be a devout Christian, but in reality, he is a ruthless figure involved in killing and smuggling, cloaked in a facade of morality and virtue, even during his criminal activities.
I am the way, the truth, and the life. And no one comes to the Father except through me!
Retribution in manifest. Retribution in manifest. Retribution in manifest.
By the way, if you enjoy our movie recaps, we're currently hosting a giveaway for our audience. We're excited to announce that a brand new scooter awaits one lucky subscriber. Don't miss out. Subscribe and follow us to stay tuned for more updates.
Yes.
Susie advocates bringing in professionals to handle the aftermath. She quickly places an order on a professional assassin hiring app, and the expert team promptly arrives. Felix, the team leader, assesses the scene and provides a swift and professional solution.
So what I'm thinking is we do a jig and dig job. So we quarter the body, find a serene but secluded spot, bury it deep, frost it with lime, pack it with earth and decorate it with some compost.
Why are you chopping it up into little pieces?
First of all, you dig a smaller hole. Plus, with the internal organs exposed, you speed up the rate of decomposition. And the worms love it. You see, in my craft, you have to have a holistic approach.
Before officially beginning the cleanup, Felix requests Susie to take him to meet the homeowner. After the meeting, Andy disagrees with their approach. He suggests framing Jack for the crime, concocting a story where Tommy and Jack had a quarrel while counting money, leading to Jack killing Tommy and fleeing with the cash. This fabricated narrative is intended for Evangelist. Andy instructs Felix to clean up the scene, leaving it at that. Susie disagrees with Andy's approach, emphasizing that she initially had no involvement in the matter and simply wanted to help out of kindness. Eddie's actions disappoint and sadden her. Eddie quickly apologizes, assuring her that he is not ungrateful. He merely wants to resolve the situation without further bloodshed. Friends familiar with frequent acts of violence understand that sometimes circumstances leave one with no other choice.
You said so yourself, murder's bad for business.
24 hours, or I'll have to get the Hoover out.
In an attempt to make the story more convincing, unfortunately, Eddie disciplines the disobedient Frankie by making him once again dress as a chicken and dance. All the chaos stems from his actions.
You killed a man, and you cannot fucking undo that, but there is a slim chance that if you do exactly as I say, you might just get away with it. You will dance.
While recording a video with Frankie, John sends an invitation to Eddie for a party at his house tomorrow night. Susie, upon seeing it, expresses her desire to attend, hoping to figure out John's motives in approaching Eddie. Shortly after, Evangelist calls Frankie, who is too afraid to answer. Eddie takes the call, and Evangelist mentions that Tommy went to their place but never returned. He wants to inquire about Tommy's whereabouts. Following the original plan, Eddie confirms that Tommy did visit them in the morning but left by 11 a.m. Evangelist schedules a visit for the next day at noon, and Eddie agrees. The next day, Evangelist arrives with 2 cars full of people. It's evident they are not friendly visitors, and Frankie, having experienced hardship at Evangelist's hands before, is visibly nervous. Evangelist, upon arrival, mentions receiving a message from Jack, which confuses everyone about its meaning regarding dealing with Tommy and Wu. Eddie seizes the opportunity, claiming there was a quarrel during the money counting, with Tommy impatiently scolding Jack. This partially convinces them,
Tommy isn't the most patient of people, to be fair.
and Eddie leaves it open-ended, letting them imagine the rest. Evangelist, unable to extract more information, decides to leave. In the next step, Eddie goes to Jack's house to retrieve Jack's passport. Unexpectedly, someone else is at Jack's house, but luckily the person is wearing headphones and cannot hear any commotion. Without any issues, Eddie obtains the passport. However, in an unfortunate turn of events, he accidentally disconnects the headphone cable from the stereo, exposing himself. A scuffle ensues, and in self-defense, Eddie shoots the man, sustaining an injury to his abdomen and bleeding. Despite the injury, Eddie is determined to find out more about John, the wealthy buyer interested in purchasing his estate at an exorbitant price. Despite his wounds, Eddie attends John's party. During the event, he encounters his childhood friend Roseanne, hoping to gather information about John from her. Roseanne describes John as generous, often sending her private planes, yachts, and gifts. John enjoys socializing with various nobles. Susie seizes an opportunity to have a one-on-one conversation with John, discovering that he is a drug trafficking tycoon. John straightforwardly expresses a desire to collaborate, essentially wanting a share of the profits, and even threatens her.
And if you want things to remain as they are, things will have to change.
Although Susie is displeased, she refrains from escalating the situation and states that she will carefully consider his proposal. Before leaving, John gifts her a watch, the same one worn by Churchill in 1945 when accepting Germany's surrender, valued at over 91 million.
Watches for retirement. Your timing's off.
Susie finds Eddie, who is tending to his wounds, to exchange information. Eddie reveals that he has already arranged for Felix to go to Jack's house and stage the corpse to make it look like Jack committed the murder. According to Eddie's plan, Jack had a dispute with the man while retrieving his passport, leading to the murder. Subsequently, Jack disposed of Tommy's body and the gun used to kill him in a location easily discoverable by Evangelist. This elaborate setup makes Evangelist further believe the fabricated story Eddie concocted earlier.
How ironic. He went to save one man's life and ended up killing another.
The next day, Evangelist arrives with a shotgun. They find a phone in Tommy's pocket containing the video of Frankie dressed as a chicken, verifying Eddie's previous statements.
Turns out Jethro was a right little weasel.
Evangelist believes that Jack killed the man and fled with the money. However, he raises a question about the high-end shotgun worth about 1.8 million, suggesting Jack, as a perennial low-income worker, couldn't afford it. Eddie generously claims the gun is theirs, admitting his carelessness in leaving the gun cabinet often unlocked.
Jethro was unattended.
Despite Eddie's smooth explanation, Evangelist leaves empty-handed again. Before leaving, he requests to keep the shotgun for a while, and Eddie agrees. With the crisis seemingly resolved, after Evangelist's departure, Eddie arranges for a ship to take Jack to Australia. Eddie inquires about the meaning of Jack's previous message.
You killed Tommy, as I was.
But due to nervousness, Jack made a typo to Tommy Woo Woo. With these matters resolved, Eddie expresses his desire to meet Susie's father, who is currently enjoying a luxurious life in prison. Susie's father is living a holiday-like existence, enjoying prime rib steaks at will. Eddie gets straight to the point, proposing that they leave his land by the end of the year. As compensation, he assures them that they can earn more money elsewhere. The original film doesn't reveal the outcome of their discussion, but it highlights Eddie's discomfort with Susie's tendency to resolve a conflict through violence. Meanwhile, Jack is on a merchant ship passing through London Tower Bridge. Will Susie kill him to silence him? Stay with us in the next episode.